business today. Moving on, let's look at the Uganda Registration Service Bureau in the country, which has a wide drive to register businesses. The Uganda Registration Service Bureau is conducting an ambitious drive to business owners largely in the informal sector to register their businesses. This move is planned to allow businesses operate formally and reap benefits of formal operations, but could stop help in creating a business database. Winnie Nakauchi Uyinza spoke to URSB's Rachel Kamsime, and this is the report.
Very many benefits one can get when they register their business. There are enormous benefits. Before even URSB gives you those incentives to attract you to register your business, one should know that there are very many benefits. One of them being obtaining a trading license. You know very well that you cannot operate within these business parameters without obtaining a trading license from KCCA. So it is mandatory for every business to be registered so that they can acquire a trading license from KCCA, from any local government. Number two, we are all seeing the East African community. Everybody is free to trade outside the borders of this country. Many people are exporting their produce. Many people are exporting several goods out of this country. So there is no way you can leverage on those benefits of trading outside this country without registering your business. Many people don't have capital to start their businesses. So when they go to these banking institutions, the first thing the banking institution requires from you is a certificate of registration or a certificate of incorporation. And that is only issued by Uganda Registration Services Bureau. So before you go to any bank for a loan, they have to make sure that your business is legitimately registered with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Number three, you are seeing bids. Government is always issuing bids in the newspapers on Mondays and Fridays. There is no way you can go and bid without your business being registered. Number three, you build a brand. This is how you attract your clients to your business because they identify you as a particular business. You cannot trade under somebody's business. So this brand in a later stage creates a reputation and goodwill, and it ends up attracting customers to your business. So incentives that we are giving our customers are that come and register, because it is very, very mandatory to register your business. You cannot live without registering your business with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. So any business can be registered, and it's very mandatory to register any business. It is imperative on everybody to register their businesses in Uganda. And if your business is not registered or operating as a briefcase company, then it is impunitive upon you to register it, because the law can go after you. Yes.
Take us through the material. What does someone have to register their business?
Basically, a business, we have so many categories of businesses. We have what we call a business name. This one is a trade name you can use to identify your brand in the business market. It is basically a name that identifies your business. One can name their business as Kamsime Solutions or Enterprises. So that is a brand name. That is the smallest business URSB can register, and it only costs 24,000 shillings. The criteria of registering it is, first of all, reserving the name. If the name passes the desirability test, then it's good to go. We only give you a form that is called a statement of particulars, where you fill in the details of the person, of the applicant, their date of birth, and where the business is going to be situated. And thereafter a day, we issue with a certificate of registration.
All right, now at this particular moment, we are linking up with Fred Makubia with the Coffee Court. And this time around, he is with the State Minister of Finance for Investment and Privatization, Honorable Evelyn Anite. Good evening, Fred. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Joram Paulson, and welcome to the Coffee Court, where we ask the hard questions, but questions that matter. And of course, we'll be discussing matters of investment. I am privileged to be joined by the Honorable State Minister, who is in charge of privatization and investment, the Honorable Evelyn Anite, and we'll be discussing matters of investment. Honorable Minister, straight away, many companies have closed in Uganda, and we want to find out, why have companies closed in Uganda?
It's not because of Uganda that the company is closed. It is because of external factors, and one of the biggest external factors is COVID. So COVID, the natural calamity that hit the world, just brought a very big problem to these companies. And so they were not able to sustain the markets and do the businesses very well because during COVID, everyone's purchasing power went down. One, purchasing power went down. Two, they then were not able to repay their money. So they reached out to government because they picked these monies, and I say this with confidence because as Minister of Investment, they reached out to me to reach to the bigger government. And when I went to His Excellency, we tried to come in. But the problem was that the credit facilities that they had acquired from the countries of origin, they were not able to repay it because now COVID hit them, purchasing power went down. That means that they did not have enough source of money to be able to pay. So they needed to downsize. And so according to AfriCell, that their board of directors advised them to downsize. And so they had to downsize to a leaner structures because they were moving global. And as they're doing the downsizing, Uganda became a victim of their downsizing. So that's why they closed in Uganda, and AfriCell closed, and Nakumatt, ShopRite rather, had to close. So it was not that Uganda is not a favorable investment climate like other people have been wanting to say and portray Uganda to be. No.
What could be the impact of closure of such business to the economy of Uganda, Honorable Minister?
I must say that for the mobile phones or the telecom companies, it's a bit difficult to feel that impact because the market is a little bit saturated, I must say. First, you know that you have MTN, you have Airtel, and then you have Uganda Telecom coming out. And so these companies, they cannot make you feel that gap per se. But the impact, direct impact, is that we lost those 500 jobs that they had created. So these young people became unemployed. So it affects me as the Minister for Investment and my government because it's our mission to make sure that we reduce or we minimize the unemployment burden to the government. So if you have unemployed citizens, it just causes a crisis. So that means it gives us that pressure to attract many more other companies to be able to absorb those young people who were otherwise employed and then lost their jobs. That's 500 I'm talking about. AfriCell, like about 800 for Nakumatt. So they get affected. So they have to look for alternative jobs. But the good news here is, as these companies were closing, many more companies were given birth to. So these young people, some of them got absorbed, some of them are yet to be absorbed. So that's why we cannot sleep even a day on the issue of investment promotion locally and internationally, because we must establish 25 industrial parks and just not land space. We have to ensure that we have factories built there. And our government, thanks to His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, he then brought the Paris Development Model. But if, as you're unemployed, then you can go and start doing other enterprises as you wait for to become self-employed. But the thing is, as Ugandans, do we count self-employment? We're like, I don't think I am employed when I'm self-employed. It is actually a good form of employment. So this is what we're trying to do self-employment strategy as we also look for companies to shed shop.
Honorable Minister, with that preamble, talk to us about the future of investment in Uganda.
Very bright, very, very bright and extremely promising. Uganda is now the second best investment destination in Africa. And I say Africa. Second to Mauritius. The only reason why Mauritius beats us right now, it is because it's a tax haven, so say. Now, for us, we need the taxes as well as we give exemptions, but we also need the taxes. So that's why we have these tax incentives that we give to our investors and non-tax incentives that we give. But there is no country that has, in Africa, the best incentive for investors than Uganda. Why do I say this? It's only in Uganda that you get service land and free. In other countries, investors have to buy their own land. But now Uganda, we give them the land, we give them permission to mortgage. Where do you get that? Not even anywhere, not even in Europe. But why do we do this? We want clear return on investment. And what is our clear return on investment in this case? We want our young people who are unemployed to get employed. We want taxes to be paid such that we can be able to be a self-sustaining economy. Because this is what NRM stands for. When we came to power in 1986, the first thing we put in our 10-point program was that we have to build a self-sustaining, an integrated and self-sustaining economy. And so this is our way of building an integrated and self-sustaining economy. And we can only do that if we have to focus on things so as to attract the multi-billion companies in our economy. And once we do, and then encourage Ugandans to invest rightly. I was just chatting with one of your staff before coming for this interview and said, yes, Ugandans actually have the money, and I agree with him. We have money, but where are we investing our money? We're investing our money in the wrong things. We invest our money in land, we invest our money in women. I'm not saying land is not a good investment, but why do you have 500 acres of land that you cannot actually protect, that you have to struggle with encroachers, that you will have to fight over it? Why don't you get 100 acres and do value addition? Plant, cultivate it, make use of this land. Because you're saying let it appreciate. By the time you're buying it and wanting it to appreciate, you know what is happening? There are some encroachers coming on the land. So you have to invest correctly. We invest our money in clothing, we invest our money in cars, we invest our money in men, we invest our money in women. So it's not the right investment. Let's invest our money in value addition. Fast-moving products. I will tell you, Uganda is well endowed with natural resources. Can you imagine that Ugandans, with its high productivity, that a woman can produce not less than 7 kids, but we get all the baby foods. We're talking about cereals. Where do we get it? Imported. But do you know what cereals is made out of? Maize. Corn. Do we have maize? Yes. Are we doing value addition? No. We're eating it like that. We're making fun of cassava. But did you know that you can get medical supplies out of cassava? Starch. That we can use this, but we don't want to do it. We have cassava. We have sugarcane. All these Ugandans who are building these sky-raising buildings and building all those arcades, if they invested their money in where they can get quick return, would be the multi-billion companies that we want to attract. We would be the ones. Ugandans would be the ones.
Okay. Does government have any post-COVID packages, especially for investment in Uganda?
Number of them. So first we had this post-COVID recovery package. The incentives, we put 100 million, and participating banks put 100 million, making it 200 billion actually. Okay? Was it 200 billion? Yes, it was 100 million though. Yes, 100 million that government put, 100 billion. And the participating companies put 100 billion. So that makes it 200 billion. Okay? So we had this money that we invested. Again, the issue is, are we happy to take the initiative? As Ugandans, we hear these good stories, but we don't take the step to go and assist them. Nobody is going to go to your house to tell you, please, there's a recovery camp package here for you. Our biggest challenge is documentation. Our biggest challenge is that we don't like to follow procedure. We want EasyCam, but you should know that EasyCam is EasyGo. So these incentives are there. The recovery package is there. You can go to the UDB, you can go to DFCU, you can go to Stanbic Bank, you can go to Centenary. That's where we put it. Agricultural credit facility. I was very disheartened. I'm not a sectarian person. because my teacher, my mentor, His Excellency the President, has taught me to be a Pan-Africanist as opposed to being just a Ugandan. So I like to encourage all Ugandans and Pan-Africanists. And for me, I'm looking at investment without any color. But I will tell you, our Indians who have been naturalized, you remember that India became one of our tribes, they've gone, they know about these incentives, they hear our government, they're always on TV, they will run and get the incentives. Because the companies are incorporated in the country, they have the right documentation put together, they will access it. So fellow Ugandans, what is your problem? Put your documentations together, come and access this opportunity. It's there for you. Government has put it for you. Land incentives, we have land for Ugandan investors. All you just have to do is incorporate your company. But do we incorporate our companies? No. Do we certify our products? No. Do we have investment license? No. So how do we access it? Because it is the bare minimum for you to be able to access land. And did you know that actually when you apply for land and you're Ugandan, we give you this land on understanding that you actually don't have the total capital to finish this project. So we just want you to put 30% of what you have written as your investment requirement. Once you invest that money, 30%, we then give you permission to mortgage this land. Government land, you go, take it to the bank, mortgage it to get more capital to be able to complete the project. Remember that we also give you tax incentive. You're not supposed to pay any tax on your plant and machinery. You remember that we've negotiated for you markets. You remember that we provide for you the environment with security and all that. But we don't want to take advantage of what we're seeing. Actually, I always crack a joke that for us Ugandans, when it's in front of us, we don't see. But when it's hidden, that's where we shall go and say, what is there? But when we know that opportunity is right in front of us, no, it's not important.
Honorable Minister, when it comes to matters of industrialization, especially in rural area, it seems as if it is dying out, or it seems as if it is hard. I would want to pick your opinion on this.
On the contrary, it is picking up. Did you know that Jinja has regained its glory of being the industrial city? That was once upon a time an industrial hub. Now it has regained its glory. Did you know that we now have 25 industrial parks that we have established across country, and in every zone of the 20 zones of Uganda we have an industrial park. If you went to Kigezi sub-region, you'll have Kisoro industrial park there. If you come to West Nile, you have 2, Nebi, and you have actually 3, Nebi industrial park, you have the Yumbe industrial park, you have the Zombo. You come to Acholi, you have the Pade industrial park. Then you go to Lango, you have the Lira Industrial Park and Dokolo Industrial Park. Then you go to East, Soroti, the Teso area, you have the Soroti Industrial Park. I can go on and on and on. Of course, I won't tell you what is in front of you in Central, because you asked me in the rural areas, so I'm doing the rural areas. And I will tell you, industrialization of our country is actually picking up. And the people are getting more and more aware about value addition on the raw materials. We've been doing that, but now we are doing it in an upscale level, and we're encouraging our people to certify their products so that they can be able to access external markets.
Honorable Minister, thank you to speak to us. Your parting shots.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me and asking me those wonderful questions. Keep on asking them. The reason why I encourage you to keep on asking them, we'll be able to help a Ugandan who has money out there, who does not know what to do with their money, to be able to know what to do with their money. And what to do with your money? Invest it in manufacturing. Value addition, you'll get return on investment.
Honorable Minister, I must say thank you for sparing time and allowing to speak to us, especially on matters of national importance. And thank you for speaking to us on this coffee court where we digest matters of national importance, Monday to Friday. Joram Paulson, over to you for business today.
Fred Makuya with Coffee Court. All right, now let's move on to the tourism sector. Lastly, from Business Today, as the performance of the tourism sector at a regional integration amidst the COVID-19 pandemic in Uganda is being highlighted in this particular report. Uganda lost 4.1 trillion shillings amidst COVID-19 global pandemic in tourism. The sector contributes approximately 8% of the country's GDP and supported jobs of 667,600 directly and indirectly, over 1.6 million jobs. Tourism has also been the leading foreign exchange earner, accounting for $1.6 billion of the country's GDP. Therefore, the sector's growth has had a tremendous impact on our economy. Samuel Chirimunda has the details.
Despite the vibrancy and success recorded in recent years, the COVID-19 effect on tourism was hard. The lockdown, movement and travel embargo forced most businesses running out of liquidity. At the East African community level, a recent study by the East African Business Council says EAC partner states will potentially lose about 6.2 million tourists and receipts of upwards $5.4 billion due to COVID-19 and the associated inevitable restrictions. The trickle-down effects are still felt across affiliated industries and the rest of the economies within the region. Vivian Liazi, the Assistant Commissioner, Ministry of Tourism, has revealed that the sector is concentrating on cultural tourism and development. The initiative is funded by the European Union, EU, and the Uganda Development Bank, UDB.
Of the enterprises were stressed because of loss of business, loss of jobs, and related effects that the pandemic predisposed to the community. Through support from the European Union and UDB, we're able to provide affordable financing to support these enterprises attain their employment levels, partly to support job retention, but also to support those activities that help these entities remain competitive. A number of hotels did benefit from this facility, and the second call has just been made for more enterprises to benefit from this facility. Those that weren't able to benefit from the facility greatly were mainly the tour operators, because one, they had been extensively affected, but also the rigorous requirements that banks normally require to provide these financial facilities did not allow them to qualify. What we are discussing now with the Uganda Development Bank and our development partners is to see how best we can reach out to those enterprises that do not fall into the viable categories, so that they can also benefit in a way, because they also contribute to the economy and we want them to grow as well, to formalize and grow. The ones that benefited from the previous round were those that were highly formalized and had been in existence for quite some time and had a track record of performance. So these that are starting to do business did not greatly benefit from this particular facility, and we are trying to look into other ways in which they can also benefit.
Samuel Chirimunda, Business Today, Smart 24 TV, driving business.
All right, this Business Today. Now, as we're winding up with the bulletin tonight, let's have a look at the rewind of our top stories.
It's evident that the debt is affecting the economic growth of Uganda. Government debt as a percentage of GDP is used by the investors to measure the future ability of the country to pay its debt.
Money lending in Uganda has become a menace as many money lenders end up overtaking securities for the money borrowed. However, today the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority has equipped knowledge for the money lenders all over the country.
Doctors asked the government to redeploy health workers across the country as fears of a new COVID wave emerge. The academicians decry the discriminatory manner in which other member states implement their protocols.
All right, and thank you very much for being part of business today. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko, and this is Smart 24 TV. It's Friday, and the weekend has just got started. It is a chance for you to at least go out and refresh for the next week that is coming ahead of you. But for us, we are still here driving your business, and you can follow on our social media platforms: Twitter, Smart24 TV, Facebook is Smart24 TV Official, and Instagram, Smart24_TV. And of course, on our website, which is www.smart24.tv. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Till tomorrow, have a blessed night and a good weekend. Goodbye.